Hello there, people, and welcome to Aftershock E2M3, also known as Rook to King's Bishop. Now the question is, what exactly that means? No idea in the slightest, honestly. Let me try and bend this a bit more. Just kind of like bump into my face. Okay, my mistake. Let's actually get underway. We have something to do involving chess. Not really sure why, but yeah, E2M3 Aftershock. Who would have guessed? Who but WB Mason? Yeah! Look at quakiness in Quake. Yeah, the most quakiness you could experience for Quake. Say goodbye to your weaponry. Because we're playing this with just a shotgun. And the double barrel shotgun. Hooray! Luckily we have two guns here. That will make things dead and deader. Okie dokie. Now the question is, what are we doing? Oh look, a lot of things have come to kill me. Operation, let's run upstairs quickly before everything hurts me. That is a lot of scrags. Oh god, they're everywhere. I'm just letting them infight with each other right now. There's way too many enemies. So now, oh my god. What is even going on? Stop it! You're not supposed to be killing each other! You're supposed to be better than this! Or, hooray! I think I've caused more things to kill each other. Play a game of peekaboo with explosive ogres. Well, this should be fun. Feeds ogres. All the fun stuff. Wait, what the? Oh, hi there! Well, that was definitely a painful entry. But we lived. And that, of course, is the most important part. Living. Remember, people, when in doubt, be sure to live. Oh, look, a super nail gun. I could kind of use that to not die. There's some little pretty goodies here. And that seems to be about it here. There is health here, but we don't need it at the moment. And we have a silver key. You need the silver key. Yeah. So you come over here, and we enter this room. What an interesting little room. As you can already see, it's a lot more like how the second level was, and not like the terrible first level at least. Oh look! A shiny silver key. Oh god, a lot more scrags. How many scrags can you put at me? Like seriously, this is like Dawn of the Scrags over here. Okay. And surprisingly no fishes in the water. Just explosives. Thank goodness, because now I can kill everything. Now it's time to dominate the level. That works! Okay, 2 down. A bunch more to go. Doesn't seem like this is going too well for me, honestly. Okay, I don't think this is going well for me at all. Definitely need a bit more control. There's ogres below me, there's ogres above me. Needless to say, there's a lot of ogres. We need some... Okay, that should be a control factor. Get away from me. I want to blow you up. Stay away from the explosive deadly things. And we can play hero. Or die. That works too, supposedly. I don't know, maybe you should try it. Go out and kill yourself. That might help the situation some. Well, this is painful. Just run in a circle. It's the answer to all life's problems. Wait, Del, be sure to run around in circles and see what happens. Owie. I was surrounded by dogs. My life is painful and filled with dogs. Owie. Okay, trying to cause everything to infight doesn't seem to really be working for me. Just kill me. Just kill me already. I have enough guns, so I should just shoot. Shoot to kill. Shoot to kill me. Come in peace. Shoot to kill. Start trekking across the universe. Always going forward, cause we can't find reverse. Well, this is kind of crazy at the moment. I don't even know what's going on. Oh god, there's a beat of something behind me. Owie. Well, we're in a world of pain. Hope you're all ready with your swim trunks, because we're going to be suffering for a long time. Yeah, this level's probably one of the most painful we've played yet. Let's see here. Let's see here. There's a lot of scrags shooting. Guys are infighting. Come at me all different ways. Well, that was some carnage, and I think there's still a fiend somewhere, right? Where's the fiend dead? There's 2 dead fiends. Okay. Hooray! Everything is dead. Everything you've ever known and loved has been murdered into a violent heat. You're welcome. Okay, so we come over here, we grab some random junk, and now we fight a bunch more scrags. So what's more fun than shooting more scrags? Definitely need the grenade launcher if we're going to make any progress whatsoever. So we need it to kill these ogres. Shrek 3 was a terrible movie! And of course my phone rings. 1 second, people. Oh great, I'm interrupting the minute of this. 1 second here. Of course I die because I have to be in the middle of this bloody combat. Alright. Let's get back into this. So that was horrible because I just totally got interrupted and was able to pay attention, and we're only 8 minutes into this. What a great way to start this. Whatever! On guard! Victory shall be mine through perseverance, key, survivability, and other such skilled maneuvers, such as not dying. That's a very skilled maneuver, you see. Most people die. Okay, lots of explosives. They're all coming at me! The scariest thing was a random dog. I killed everything except for one random dog in the world. Oh look, some explosive gibs. That's always nice to see. Hooray for the power of the double-barreled shotgun. Oh great, another feed. Oh god. Ooh, wait. I have found something, people. I have found something. Hooray for my plundering. I had actually shot a guy in an epic combat battle, and sure enough, it really leads to a secret area with some armor, which could be useful for not dying.
Yeah, I could use that.
Okay, so now we have armor. Potentially speaking, I shouldn't die. Potentially. Note that does not promise anything. Let's see here. You know what I'm missing? A super nail gun. I've had a super nail gun on me every single time. Do not make me forget the super nail gun. I need it to shoot things like the random guys do here, maybe. Potentially. Or maybe I'll just walk around with it and use it as a new fashion statement. My statement is a bunch of nails! Hey, if a band could use this theirs. Alright, banzai, and we got a grenade launcher. What better way to invade the world than with a really explosive grenade launcher? Okay, so we gotta think our strategy here. Strategy number 1. Banzai! 2 for 1! Hooray! I like that one. Back up. So most of the enemies are on my level. Should make it a bit more controllable. Okie dokie! We have lived. Good news, people. We have lived. And, all the ogres are now dead, at least on that side. We do have this side. Which, luckily, we've already killed a couple of them. Now, can we kill the rest? That's a great question. The invited ogre is beat, the ogre should lose. And now we got a random fiend that dies. Hooray! Alright, so everything's dead. These bars flow is somewhere nearby. I wonder where. Here's the gold door. That kind of doesn't help me at the moment. We have random block bars. That really doesn't help me at the moment. Okay, let's see here. What else can we do? We can throw explosives. We can shoot things with a super nail gun. We can be amazing. We can take mud shots. I found the one secret in the level. Oh look, a lot more things I can shoot. Is it just weird? Does it seem like this level has a lot of like clustered areas with like packed amounts of enemies? Whatever it is, it feels a lot more intense than what we've been seeing. There's definitely a lot more going on in this level. I like that. That's one positive definitely for this level. The fact that it feels like I'm constantly on my toes here. And I have a lot more risk of actually dying. That's a nice one. Because, you know, we haven't had that a lot lately. Usually it's too easy. I still wouldn't say this is like an amazing challenge or so, but it's a start. It's a start in the right direction. Oh look! Nails everywhere! Well, this doesn't look safe at all! Owie! Okay, back away. Let's see here. Ooh, a button! A door has been opened somewhere. I'm terrible at timing this. Oh look! Totally useless teleporters! Mine! Alright, so I didn't really want to talk with that going, but we got a nail gun, which is totally useless to us because we already have a super nail gun. And we also saw some green armor, which could be potentially useful, except for the fact of the matter that, well, we can't exactly pick it up. You see, the green armor sitting there is basically a massive red herring. It looks like you can pick it up, but it's behind the teleporter, and there's no other way to reach it. So yeah, the green armor in this level, totally impossible to get. Luckily, there's no item count in Quake. So while something like that being pulled off with like a Soul Sphere in Doom would frustrate me to no end, here, it's totally fine. And it's a little evil thing that they added just to drive a newbie mad. Oh look, more fiends! A lot more hoppy fiends. Owie. Owie! Of course. Of course. Of course, we jumped the wrong way. I probably should have picked up the quad damage. In hindsight. Hooray for Captain Hindsight! Captain Hindsight! Captain Hindsight! They're coming at me from everywhere. Well, this is kind of awkward. Hi! Run! Run away! The guy is hopping right in my face. Double the ogres, double the pain! Double the pain, double the fun. Well, at least we made that one alive. Oh, got another fiend. Why did I walk into the fiend? Lesson today, do not walk into fiends. It hurts. A bit. Dear God. Alright, let's see here. We have stuff to do. Like, to hit this magic wall that gives us the answers to life questions. Time to take out my anger on the world. Alright, let's see here. We have to pick up a lot of random junk we'll never use. I mean, I haven't even used my super nail gun at all in this entire level. But that's aside the point. Okay. Grenade launcher, use that to blow up the guys down here. 2 for 1. Can trace it back and forth. Okay, okay, that worked fine. Go everyone, be undead. Okay, okay, it's 2 down, but we also have these guys up here. Oh, I think both of them are dead up there. Sweet. That's going to cause some infight, which is of course going to kill them. Let's be ready to shoot him when he's dead. Boom, there we are. Boom, bye-bye. Alright, so there we are. Bunch of enemies decimated. Finally actually getting somewhat consistent with be able to kill them. And this time around, we shall use the quad damage when that door opens instead of being stupid. Peekaboo! Boom! Let's look at all the action. Yeah, I like to go where the action is. Where is that again? I don't know if there's any way to avoid these. I just jump like a maniac and see what happens. Fake teleporters, we don't care about them. We do care about this nail gun. Through the teleporter! That didn't help me at all. Okay. There we are. And now we take this, mix it with a super nail gun, and we should rip everything to shreds. That's the goal. Just decimate quickly. Alright. Upsy daisy, downsy rousey. Look at the conga line of death! Cross up, but be careful. And nothing. We'll worry about over there in a second. We can return in a little bit. All we have to worry about over here is the fact of the matter that we have red armor and a grenade launcher. This leads down to, well, here, a random button. Push this, and this unlocks the bars down here conveniently. Which, of course, you hear gears turn and stones grind. That allows the other side to open up, over here. Which in turn allows you to get the golden key, which you can use to open up the ending area. But, is that the sound of a teleporter? Why, yes it is. If you hit this wall, you shall find one. If you hear it, they shall come. As usual, if you hear a teleport nearby, they usually suggest hitting the wall. So I think that's actually more valid than, say, like, E2M3, just because it's a more consistent sound, and it's the only dark corner. So it almost gives you the impression that because I was able to get on the top one side, I must be able to get on the top of the other. And so it actually feels a lot more fair than what we saw in like E2M3. Anyway, let's see here. So all we need to do now is pick up that and then go through the locked door over there. There's still 5 enemies to go? Weird, but okay. On guard! Oh great, a slow moving door. No, that's not gonna help me at all! How am I gonna decimate quickly with this? Oh god, boy! As you see, 2 fiends, 2 shamblers in the Voa. But luckily we went full gun-ho over here, and because of the 2 quad damages at the end, they didn't really stand a chance. And there we are! Ta-da! That's how you murder everything in a level! And so next time around, we shall enter John level. But that'll be for next time. Anyway, what do we have to talk about here? Well, this level definitely has improvements compared to the previous 2, simply because, well, it works. The first level was so bland and boring that it really had, like, nothing to compare it to, and the second one was it had that crash at the beginning, which really kind of killed any chance of it being good. This one didn't have any instability issues and still had, you know, the exploration value of, say, like the second level had. It basically has a goal in front of you, the silver door, which you have to go get the silver key to get through. And then it has a very similar thing with the gold door. You never really get lost in where to go next. It usually kind of gives you a nice guide behind the doors type situation. So I feel it kind of gives you enough of a directional thing that it doesn't make you totally lost while feeling very interconnected because you're basically crossing like a mean hubbish type area. Besides all that, it also has a lot of pain going on. I mean, look at all the enemies or so. There's like a lot of enemies that just bombard you here. There's definitely a lot of action going on compared to your general Quake level. So, like, compare this to, like, E2M1 or E2M2, and you'll see there's just a lot more pain here. I was at a lot more risk generally. For some reason, especially those platforms with all the ogres, that really is, like, packed, and the way they bounce usually turns out to be very inconvenient to me. So, it makes for a bit of a harder level in comparison to most of it. And honestly, I feel it's a pretty decent adventure there. Um, the Other than that, it pretty much, like I said, it had some nice little descriptive text in different places. The lava platforms was a nice little break from the constant action. In fact, there had some nice traps here. There was the nail traps, which you could time your way across. It is very, very fast, but I believe you can actually time your way around it. And there's the lava platforms, which is pretty simplistic, but it's still another little trap just to say there's dangers here, and it could hurt you. um, yeah, it's definitely a level that feels a lot more solidified. I'm not exactly sure what exactly the chess reference is about. I really don't know what this level has anything to do with chess in the slightest. I feel the name's like a very random name. But then again, what is in a name? How many times have really, like, a Quake level have we really cared about the name? Honestly, that's kind of the thing. Really, names of levels are really kind of just something to identify them by. So, yeah. Honestly, not the biggest of concerns. And the actual level itself is pretty decent. Um, it has that evil green armor, but what is it? I feel that's like a nice little tricky thing just to deceive a newbie. And it's not like really you ever need the green armor. If anything, you get red armor and a yellow armor to the entire thing. So you're more than aptly given armor for the entire adventure. It's just a nice little let's mock this player by adding some green armor that you can see but can't get. And a very similar situation to how some Doom levels were done. Like I said, the difference between this and the Doom level is specifically the fact that matter that here item counts do not exist. Even if they did, it probably wouldn't count armor. Doom's armor wouldn't have counted. And so, therefore, it feels a lot more fair and a lot more like, well, it didn't affect the stat anyway, compared to something like how Doom would have handled it, whereby I wouldn't have been able to get a full stat. That is a very important difference, and definitely changes the dynamic of level design. Something that you couldn't pull off in Doom without it becoming very frustrating suddenly becomes a very open avenue in Quake. And I think that's another thing to mention is the fact that it really depends the features of the engine that you're playing with. The more stats that are based into something, the more you have to make sure those stats are actually accomplishable. While of course, if there are no stats, you just don't care as much. Say like there's no some enemies aren't accessible. If there's no enemy stats, the game's not. It really isn't going to mess up the flow of the gameplay at all. You're not even going to know that there was a missing enemy. And so it doesn't kill the enjoyment. Like, I'm missing one enemy on the map. Where is this bloody thing? Such as like Quake has, which generally Quake doesn't have, because enemies usually can kind of see them easily enough. But it's more of a thing in like Doom, whereby like you have 1% health vials all over the place, and you can easily miss one of them. Um, so yeah, it's just a different dynamic, and one that I really feel needs to be addressed definitely when comparing the two games and saying why exactly something might work in Quake but doesn't work in Doom. Um, Also, the fact of the matter is that it had some different action going on, as I said before. All the different things trying to kill each other. The Scrags, ambushing you. The fiends and the whole mob at the beginning area. It felt frantic at times, and that's pretty nice, honestly, because like I said in the previous few levels, it wasn't like too easy, but it also didn't feel like too much was going on, and you got kind of overpowered by the end. Um, But for most of the level, it was pretty painful. There was like a whole day of reckoning thing, and it was almost like the end was the reward for having dealt with all that you had to deal with because it was so painful. And I like that. I'm totally fine with that. Honestly, a lot of the level, I was pretty fine with everything. Even the little hidden area with the quad damage. First of all, it wasn't a secret. It wasn't even counted, so there was no unfairness in the first place because nothing was a stat up there. However, on and the same token, it was totally clued in. It had like a shadow basically sitting there in one corner that didn't exist anywhere else, and it even had a teleporter sound very nearby using another thing that didn't exist in Doom, ambient sounds. And honestly, ambient sounds are one of Quake's biggest strengths that can really help the environment more and help you in cluing the player where to go. Because no longer is it just see where it is, but it's potentially here where there's a teleporter, which can totally change the game and make it a lot less of a button hunt or wall hunt or something like that. Because you can have audio cues as well as visual, and together they make for a much better experience. With all that said, the irony here is that the actual secret in this level wasn't as revealing. In fact, it pretty much was just at a random dead end. The dead end was pretty fair, I guess I could say, because it was an area that really like nothing else exists in, and so you could almost question why is it a dead end. But there was like no texture misalignment on that wall at all. And really, it just we had a lot of dead ends here. We had a lot for the knights. We had a lot all around the place, especially when you had a very blatant area with the green armor, which was mocking you. It just doesn't feel fair that there was like you basically had to hit some random corner of the map to find where the secret was at. It it just feels kind of random in a way. It isn't too much to expect. It wasn't like in the middle of like a room and you were supposed to hit some random wall. It's something that you're probably going to get after like a few tries, after you get a little bit of like persistence, because it is at a dead end. It makes kind of sense where it'd be just because there's not much featured there. But it still is a little bit more abstract than your general secret. And I feel there should have been a bigger clue into that being a secret. Like, honestly, I feel the quad damage was perfect and how cued in you were to it, and the actual official secret wasn't that good. So yeah, it's a bit of a mar to it, but honestly, I don't really feel like it's the biggest of problems. Like I said, it exists, it's a thing, and it definitely detracts from experience a little bit. But I still feel with all the action that's going on, all the different things that are going on, and the fact that it never really devolves that much into a hunt because it is still in a pretty logical place to look. I mean, as you saw, we kind of accidentally triggered it that one time. In the past, though, I think we would have been pretty much doomed had we not realized where it was. If I hadn't realized where it was before or something like that, and hadn't like played through these levels in the past, who knows if I would have known where it was. I can't really say honestly. That's kind of the one sad thing is that I didn't capture my first initial playthroughs of these. These are kind of like more of a reflection after I've already played through them and know them pretty well. I've known them so well I've documented them. So yeah, it makes it kind of hard to go and say what exactly is a newbie going to expect, and is it practical enough for a newbie to get. Um, but as far as I recall, I don't really recall like a frustrating time here. Honestly, like I remember like E2M1 being very frustrating and very upsetting when I found that secret. That one definitely stuck with me as being a pretty cryptic secret. But this one I didn't feel the same way. I feel it was not the greatest, but it feels like you could generally figure it out. Like I said, it's a pretty relatively logical location, not in the middle of some smack dab area or against some wall or with symmetrical design around it. No, it's a random East Oshkosh dead end, which generally is where you're going to probably look for these type of secrets. So it's kind of practical in some ways. Not the greatest, like I said, but something, and and I guess better than it could have been, like E2M3. Anyway, I really don't have much more to say about it. It, I guess I could say how exactly it compares to episode 1, and I guess really at the end of the day, it has a nice amount of difficulty to it. Like, episode 1 really suffers a lot from being too easy, being the first episode, and trying to be an introductory thing. It therefore feels very, very easy. But I do like some of the thematic things of episode 1. Like, I like the fact of the matter that we had the custom boat going on, or the flooding of, the room that you were in, or even the idea of it being like just a few very tough enemies and like lava-filled tunnels, or the idea of basically a multi-level complex that's like a military base, and it felt very thematic and very refined in what each level was conceptually. It felt like each was playing to its own little idea and kind of brought to fruition, I guess you could say. This one, I guess that's the biggest flaw with it, is the fact of the matter that it doesn't really transcend that barrier. It ends up just being a level. It's a good level. It's nothing really wrong with it too much. Besides that one flaw I mentioned with the secret, but it also doesn't have anything that I really feel is standoutish. We have the nail trap area. We have, different traps going on. And it definitely is a recognizable level, but at the same time, it's missing something. It's missing its own identity by doing something outside of the conventional norm. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't really. It basically is just doing like a level with no real grand concept being behind it. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, this level would have been better, say, had it been like like, it had something to actually do with chess. And that basically it was like you were a piece in a chessboard or something like that. Something that just makes the level feel totally unique. Like, wow, I can't believe they've done this with the Quake engine. Look at the insane things they pulled off. Like I said, still find that it's still just a level and whatnot, because at the end of the day, that's all we really ask for is another level to the Quake experience. But I think the levels that are truly excellent are those that can transcend that and basically wow us with something that we never thought we would see before in Quake. Something that totally offers a totally different perspective to the table. Even if it's something that's relatively similar to stuff we've seen before, just the fact of the matter that it is done differently or something thrown at us in a different way. And I guess that's where episode 2 kind of falls on its head in comparison to episode 1. Episode 1 was trying its own thing, I guess, and trying to make very thematic levels. It felt very strong, kind of like Dark Hour was, and being experimental. I wouldn't say Aftershock episode 1 was being too experimental, but the concepts it did come up with were very strong. And that's the exact reason I like Dark Hour, was because it was very creative and very conceptual. And so this is basically the antithesis to all that, with levels that are pretty much just that, levels. Like I said, there's really nothing to really say about it that's like unique, standoutish. It's just another level in the rotation that resembles other levels we've seen. And like I said, nothing wrong with that. I'm not really like holding anything against this level and saying it's a terrible level because of that, because it's not. Not by any means. I like the action. I like, the different traps. I have a lot of praise for this level. But like I said, I do feel at the end of the day, one thing to really point out is the fact that it's lacking that feeling of doing something unique, that offering something else to the table that makes it more recognizable and adds some wow factor to it beyond just being something that we've kind of already seen in the original game. I think I kind of mentioned that before, but I think it's more apparent with something like this, a relatively good level, but something that just is pretty much that. Something that's not really like, like I said, it doesn't even have to be like a totally different like enemy or different weapon. It doesn't even have to be anything like a different concept entirely. It could just be, like I said, say like you're on a chessboard. It's something that's basically designed around something instead of it just feeling like a bunch of rooms that are basically constructed together. Make it feel like it's the greater whole of something. I guess that's really what I'm trying to say here, is that's what's really missing. It's missing that meaning. And I know that's a really weird thing to be kind of asking for, especially in Quake, where the game is very based on fast-paced action and going from one room to the next and flying through it. But I feel that really is where the difference between a good level and a great level really lies. Is a great level takes a good level and adds like a very thematic meaning behind it, and adds some type of greater like uniqueness to it just to make it stand out in the long run. Anyway, I think I've rambled for long enough here. Thank you very much all for watching. It has been once again an adventure, and I shall see you all next time.